How do you identify ladybugs and Italy? All this and more on today's Brilliant Observations. Do, 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 do. Well, hello.
See you.
Amy. It's over.
That is me, Missy. Well, good afternoon, Melissa.
Or whatever time it is that you are listening. We hope it's good. Welcome back, dear listeners, or welcome for the very first time. If this is your first time, we're flattered. Have you ever taken someone's virginity?
Yeah, sure.
I was just welcoming all potentially new listeners to let them know that you are drinking a cocktail at, I don't know, noonish on a Saturday, and you are living.
It's a Saturday. It's time
you are
for
living
a cocktail. Why aren't you having
the European life, and you brought it back from Italy with you. Dear listener, if you are new, Amy just spent a couple of weeks in Italy walking, eating, seeing, buying, walking, eating, seeing, buying, and occasionally sleeping.
Drinking. It is Italy. Let's have a drink. And that's the song. That's it. That's all you get. That's it. That's the whole song.
I like that.
That's what happens.
Thank you.
It worked out for us.
It
Check
did.
it out. It worked out.
It did.
Hey-oh, hey-ho, hey-oh, hey-ho. What's up, Americo? What you doing? What you doing, Pesach?
You're out of yes. While you are sharing pictures of joy and beautiful foods and flowers, I was prepping for and now am knee deep in Passover, where there is no pasta, no bread, no joy. So
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, it didn't even occur to me. Oh no.
yeah, for a while, like a solid week. So that's going to be fun. Lots of matzah.
What do you eat?
Matzah, constipation, tuna fish, egg salad, fruit, vegetables, matzah, constipation. The highlights
Do you
are
eat beef?
yes, you can have beef. The highlights are matzah pizza, where you put your sauce and your cheese and you put it in the toaster oven, and if it drips, you ask someone else in the house to clean it. And there's just the toasted cheese on matzah. There's cream cheese on matzah. No, that's not good. You'll never shit again. There's nothing more constipating than a week of matzah. That's okay. That's great even. Basically because I took my daughter on a tour of a university yesterday, and I needed a bathroom several times. So that kind of sucked a little bit. And I was thinking, if this were peak Passover, I wouldn't have that problem. The tour and everything went really well. It was lovely. And bathrooms were clean. And
Does anyone ever say no to the question, can I use your
yeah,
bathroom?
I've gotten a no. It's for employees only. I've gotten that.
What do they expect is going to happen next?
I'm going to
How would your employees like to deal with this situation?
I'm going to shit my pants right in front of the register and see who cleans
Thank
it
you.
up.
Thank you. Thank you.
But they
could
do.
have solved it another way, Sharon.
They've said
could have solved
They've
it.
said no 1,000 times. Watching the
Then they-
beads of sweat come down my face.
You just become bridesmaids and you go shit in the dress in the street.
I've said to a woman once, "Can you hire me quickly?" and then I'll quit. Like, could you please give me a break? There's nothing for miles. Could you please give me a job?
What do they think you're going to do in there?
Well, I think they know what I'm going to do in there, and they don't want in on it.
Really? I mean, you're not going to like paint the room black. I mean, you're just going to go in there and be normal. Are people so gross?
Well, first of all, the answer to that last question is yes, people are that gross. But I physically, personally have never had such an experience where I have pollocked a bathroom. But I've been in bathrooms after that and thought,
okay, super gross.
What has happened to this person? And did they live to tell? Like, did they live?
No, I'm going to go with no.
Yeah.
That's a no.
Yeah,
That's
death.
a nope.
Anyway, dear listeners, I am not going to start every episode with
welcome
shit
to your
stories.
very first episode.
Yeah, right. So the three topics I brought today, one is completely you, and the other two are things that pushed me to my edge this past couple of weeks, and I I'm done. Like
Ladybugs push you to the edge, did they?
They did.
What? And tell me now.
I don't understand why everybody loves ladybugs. They're beautiful. No. They travel in swarms, and this, what you think is an attractive, pretty little red thing with dots on it decides to take flight when you least expect it, expands to 5 times its tiny size, and then just goes in random. I fucking hate them, and they're everywhere right now.
Who hurt you? This doesn't make any sense. Ladybugs are fine. They're just a tiny insecticus. A tiny little bug is, and they go. That's it.
Are you talking about them outside?
Where else are they going to be?
All over my house.
Why do you invite them inside?
I don't know how they got inside, but they're
interlopers.
They don't come in one at a time either. Like the blinds, have like.
What do you have in there?
I don't know.
Or do you have like big red juicy apples? Like, what are you calling them in there with?
So that's an excuse to swarm in my house if I have a big red juicy apple.
Kind of.
Do you not have apples in your house?
Doesn't Richard Cleary? Don't they drive around in those in his big book?
You're so cute.
That's what happens, man.
They're fucking everywhere. The only reason they're not considered an infestation like ants when they come in is because, oh, look how pretty. And then they take flight. Oh, not so pretty anymore.
What do they do to you? Do they get in your hair and not come out? Like, really, I'm seriously curious. What's the matter?
That is my biggest fear, that something one of them would get in my hair once in flight. And that's the end of it. This hair just is like, well, you live here now. And
it's a Venus fucking fly trap.
Do you need a certain nutrient to stay alive? Because
you ain't gonna find it in there. Blondie got you. You mine now. That's it.
It's the worst. They're the worst.
She's fucking Medusa'd you. You're ready to go in there.
You don't have any infestation of any bug?
No, I'm sure we will. Ants love us. They come in once a year to escape the heat and the rain. It's like a little vacation for them, and then they come here and die. So, because we kill them actively.
Do you like put down borax and do like a full blown?
Well, we live in the
murder,
South.
homicide.
We live in the South, which means that we have pest control people come to the house every 6 weeks year round.
Oh, every 6 weeks.
Yeah, they just come and they spray the entire outside of the house. And then they do every corner of the house on the outside and anything that sort of feels like the inside, like the porches, and they go all the way inside the garages and all this other stuff. And they do this always. And then in the spring, usually somebody defeats those defenses. Oh, and they drop these little
pellets.
They're like bug trap kind of things, but there's never anything in them. But they put them in the garage. Then, without fail, somebody comes around and goes into the pantry. They always go into our pantry and do, it's like a little paste that they stick. They're just little poison bombs that they stick like glue, and the ants come and eat a little bit, and then they leave. And when they leave, they take the little bit that they had and they say, "Share with me, and we'll all die." Yes. So it's a mini Jonestown in the pantry. Happens every year, and then we're done. We don't have to worry about any of the rest of it. We don't have, thank God, no termites or any of this other business. But termites were big they like the soil. They like, it's the South. The bugs are like as big as your fist. Nothing ever gets cold enough to kill them here. So they just live all the time.
That's wrong.
Ladybugs are the least of our worries. In South Carolina, they got cockroaches that fly at your fucking head.
I can't with that.
Yeah, and they call them palmetto bugs.
Yes. Florida
because
too.
Yes, because you can't be rich and have cockroaches, so you got to pretend it's something else. You just lie.
Palmetto.
Lie.
Yeah.
It's a palmetto bug. I'm like, that's a fucking flying roach, and you're gross.
It's nasty. My parents had geckos in their house, little baby geckos.
Lord. And I'm like, what's next? Scorpions? Get out. I'm a human. I bought this. You don't live here. Go to another planet.
They need a cat is what they need.
Gross. I just walked past a cat cafe, and I am amazed that of all the things that had to go under during COVID, how does the fucking cat cafe stay alive? There's all these lazy, fucking overprivileged cats just in the window sleeping. I don't understand it. The place is closed, and they're just like, brr. A cat cafe is a place for weird adults to wander in off the street and spend time playing with effectively a bunch of strays that are fed and somehow taken care of. I don't get the business model.
Are they also adopting them out?
I think so, but who wants a cat anyway? I don't get any of this.
Wow, and there go 53% of our listeners.
Nobody wants a cat. Nobody wants a cat. They can't give them away fast enough. They don't need a cat cafe. Have you ever paid for a cat?
No, I've always gotten a cat. But I don't mind cats. I think cats, well, some cats I don't mind.
You should mind all cats. Cats are here to kill you.
I think it's interesting that the highest compliment that you can pay a cat is that he's like a dog.
Oh!
Get
Okay.
a dog. Like, that's, what's
And
your
coming over
problem?
to my team. Here's what can be said of cats. I can still appreciate you as a person if you love a cat. That's it. That's the highest form of a compliment I can give any cat. I can still accept and appreciate. You see a piece of art or a piece of music and you're like, it's not for me, but I can accept
I get
that it
that
exists. I see what you're trying to do here. That's how I feel about people who have cats. That's it. Why do you want they kill little children? They come straight from hell. They're
what
awful.
are you talking
they
about?
walk in their own poop and then stick it on your face.
Okay,
They're
well,
terrible.
I also have dogs who would like to stick their poop hands in my face and eat my dead toenails. But here's the difference.
What?
Cats.
Hey, ho. You something
Cats
slipped past me.
Spontaneously.
Eat my dead toenails?
Well, a few weeks ago, I lost a toenail, and
Oh my God.
somebody on our Facebook page
God.
in our special group of special people said, "Which one of your dogs ate it?"
Oh my God.
The answer was none of them. My dogs are not interested in sick things like
I think they are.
they might be. But
Cats are awful and here to kill
they are
you.
not awful. They're delightful. I don't like how they spontaneously jump on a countertop where you are preparing food after having just shadoobied and kicked
with their
back
claws and teeth out and twist their head 365 degrees around.
Oh my God, no. Cats
and their
are
eyeballs
delightful.
pop
They-
out of their heads and then they land on your jugular vein and kill you. And then very quietly flick their tail because they've just killed you.
None of those things happen. Are they sadistic? Yes, many
Yes.
of them are.
Yes.
Many
Yes.
of them are. But I have to say, I have met some very cool cats before. And
I don't know.
all right, fair enough. You don't have to like cats, but cat people are fine. How many do you have is the question, says the woman with 3 dogs. How many do you have on the cat front?
Wow. Okay.
I'm judging? No. I cannot judge anybody and their love of pets. But here's what I'm opening the door for you to judge right now. There is a student within our school district.
Got it. I'm clocking you. Yeah.
Who identifies as a cat.
Really?
Now, I am the
Okay.
first to completely support your identifying as whatever the fuck you want. It's your business. But when you bring it to school and insist that they keep a kitty litter in the bathroom for you because you identify as a cat, it is hard enough as a teacher to teach, learn, focus, 1,000 IEPs, 504. Like, there are a million different ways that we have to I have to deal with what now? What are you saying now? You identify as a cat and insist on using a litter.
Nobody actually got a litter. No government sponsored individualized education plan includes a box of fucking litter for this human child. No one did this.
So I don't know if it's in her IEP that it says that this is how she is to, I can't imagine that that's illegal, because an IEP is a legal document,
That's
an
right.
individualized education plan for those smart enough not to know or need to know. That it is a plan. It's a legal document that both the school and the parents and the student all need to live up to, or it is literally against the law and you could be sued for infringing upon the least restrictive environment for this student to learn. Do you mean to tell me
in a box? Yeah.
Do you mean to tell me if my kid can't shit in a box, their learning is being hindered? So that's why I can't imagine that it's in an IEP or anybody did that with a straight face, but there's a litter box in a bathroom in our school district because this human identifies as a cat.
That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. Okay, that's stupid. That's just beyond stupidity. This is something that in the teenage years falls into the category of trying to have attention shed on this person for some reason, right? Let's investigate that. Let's talk in circles with what is it that you really need? What are you trying to accomplish? All of these things, right? Or this falls into the category of, as an adult, if you want to be a cat, if you have decided that you are a spider, if you have decided whatever the hell you are, go fucking live your life and have fun. But when you're a teen, that's danger zone, because you're not moving in a way that suggests you have all of your faculties together to make this choice.
Or understand
you need
what
some
it
help.
means, right?
Yeah,
or understand what it means.
Help.
Right. So,
and this is not Lars and the Real Girl. We should not all play along the kitty litter game while you get to go through high school and everyone just pretend that this psychosis is not an issue. It's an issue. It's an issue to be addressed.
So let's not feed
saying
the issue.
Yeah, I'm not saying let's go ahead and shame this person. Let's mock this, but no, none of that kind of stuff. But I don't think that you participate in it.
Well, what do you think happens to this human when they're in school and they're
I think the reality is the bathroom is here, and if you identify as a cat, this cat is going to identify as a cat who is able to use a human toilet. Yeah, so go ahead. So that's very different than saying we're going to bring catnip to school. I mean, stop it. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You look a little tired. I've got some catnip. Could I entice you to?
Crazy.
It is crazy. And I only heard this because my daughter was talking to a friend of hers that she had over the house. And I said, as I'm passing through the room, come again? What's happening right now at this school? What is happening in your district? Yeah, but let's definitely not let anybody under the 3rd grade talk about sexuality or identifying as anything. But let's definitely get that kitty litter box right in that girl's bathroom.
Almighty.
Yeah, it's fucked up. The world is crazy. And I say that as somebody who hasn't left the country in like 10 years, 8 years. 7 years. But I know somebody who has just left the country, and she will have a better take on whether or not the world is crazy or just the U.S. of fucking A is crazy.
Yes. Well, it's difficult for me to speak as an authority on the global state of craziness.
What are you talking about? Try. I know this with no information whatsoever is literally on your business card.
I was not on a mission of evaluating the crazy worldwide. I was on a mission of escape the crazy and relax the crazy and looky crazy and all the just being in the moment and having fun and being in a place that I've long wanted to go and have never chosen to go. So it was nuts.
It was
there were
mothership
a lot of firsts.
calling you home.
It was the mothership calling me home, and I did feel very much at home. It felt more at home there than it does here in many, many ways. So it didn't hurt that this was a ridiculously posh and luxurious way to experience these particular places. We opted. I traveled with my husband and I traveled with 3 other friends, and it was our intention to have this be a kind of a lavish, let's spoil ourselves sort of a trip. We, some of the activities while we were there, in addition to sightseeing, one of our group decided to buy some Golden Goose shoes. Another decided to buy a Gucci purse and wallet. So, I mean, we were in all the stores, we bought cashmere scarves. You just walk in the store, and I thought it would be like walking into Gucci in New York or in Los Angeles, where you sort of don't get to walk into Gucci in New York or Los Angeles because they look at you like, don't touch that door handle. It's just been polished. Get out. Not so. The Gucci in Rome, they were, come in. How are you? Hello. Would you like something to drink? Just off the effing street. We don't look like we're anything. We weren't walking around in Gucci. We're walking around in exercise clothes and the traveler's backpack. Like, this was very clearly, we are just looking around. And they treated us like royalty before anybody bothered to say, oh, and P.S., we'll be getting a bag with a comma in it. Like, it was uncanny. And that was the experience everywhere. The friendliness, the welcome, the open arms, open attitude, nothing. Nobody was looking down at it. Was uncanny.
So the opposite of France. Is it the opposite of France?
I guess so. Even though if we were French, they would have kicked us out and not let us in. It was hilarious. They hate the French so much. I love that about them. So, yeah. So we were not the ones to be hated, which is weird being an American. You're usually the ones who are hated.
Yes.
So.
Anyway, even by other Americans, yeah.
I felt a little bit as if it's like, if we felt like hating somebody, I mean, we would hate you. But right now, I don't want to hate anybody. Like, it was just, I'm too relaxed to summon my hate for you. So come and have a drink. Like, it was just very nice in that way. Very, very,
love
very
that.
nice. Very nice. It's nice. It's good. It's very good. Ciao.
So did you get a pair of Golden Goose shoes?
I did not, though I was so browbeaten into it. They held the store open an extra 20 minutes, and I had to physically extricate myself from it because all 4 of them ganged up on me. They demanded that I try them on, didn't want to try them on. I mean, they held the store afterward, demanded that I try them on, try on a different pair. If you don't like these, try this other. Like, they were hell bent on me getting these stupid fucking shoes. And I just had to keep saying, I'm not sure why you don't understand me when I tell you I truly don't want them, until I finally got around to the place. And the 2 women who were there were like, we will pleasantly stay here, even though we are really ready to fucking go home. Like, they were just there the whole time, right? So, and they sold each of them a pair of shoes. So, I mean, they were doing okay. But I don't know how that works, if they care about selling the shoes or not. In any event, they finally listened to me when I looked dead in the face and said, okay, I ask you, when have I ever wanted to do something that I did not do? When? When did that day come? And they're like, yeah, okay, that checks out. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. If I wanted to do this, because they were saying, don't worry about the price. Treat yourself. Treat yourself. It was all about, everybody sort of got hung up on this idea that I wanted this thing but was blocking it for some reason. And instead, I really helped them understand. That may have been the case up until now, but the truth is, I don't want this thing. So out we go. Like,
were they comfortable?
Not for me. Not for me. They just didn't have, they're just not for me. And it's the kind of thing where I'm not invested enough in the look of them. I'm sure there's a pair that makes me, feel like $2 billion and
the pink
my armpits
ones
smell like applesauce, something,
yeah, the
right?
pink ones.
But yeah, they didn't have the pink ones, right?
No.
So it was like, so I was in this puffy pair of old fucking Puma looking high tops with a belt around the top. It was like, no,
thank you.
I don't need fat girl 1980 shoes. I don't. That's what they look like. They were very different. They were not the golden geeses that you would think is.
Okay.
So so we left there. Okay. So the reason I tell you that whole story is, after we got back, long after, all the way come home, right? I had something I had to drop off at the friend's house who was traveling with. And she said, oh, good, because I actually have a pair of shoes for you. And I shit my pants.
I just did the same.
So I drove arguably faster than is legally allowable from where I was 5 minutes away from her house, which is the only reason I even called her out of the blue and said, look, I got this thing. I'm going to drop it off. She's like, good. I have a pair of shoes for you, and little clappy hands. So I sped over to the house the whole time going, please, sweet Jesus, please, sweet Jesus, please don't have this be this thing. Please don't let them have thought, we really showed her. We got her those great shoes that she really wanted. Because I'm like, there's nothing worse than the feeling I had standing in those shoes that made me feel ugly and fat. They were not a good pair on me.
Okay.
The one pair I tried on. And I got over to her house, and thank God, it was just my kids' shoes that he had left at her fucking house. So I'm like, okay, thank God.
Shoe.
I know. And I was like, why would I think that they bought me fucking shoes? But anyway, But that's
because those are the kind of people with whom we travel and with whom we've stayed friends for so long. Of course, if that's something that you didn't make clear, I don't want this. That's absolutely what they would do. Yeah.
I didn't want this. And that's not to say that I don't love and very excited for the shoes on you that look great on you. It's a very different thing. Things look good on me that don't look good on you.
You're a very different person than the people who bought them. What did you buy while you were in Italy that came home with you?
Very little. I bought food. I bought 4 cases of wine. I bought a case of spirits. I had them, they just ship it to the house. And, a souvenir for each of our kids. And that's it. Some food. That's it. I bought nothing.
No blown glass or...
Nothing. It was all high-end luxury shopping, which I enjoyed. I took pictures of the inside of the store, I didn't know. And everyone was surprised that everyone was so kind to me. And it was crystal clear that I was not doing anything. If anything, I was the influencer, because the friends would be trying on the bag, and I would just sit on the sofa there or sit on the chairs and say, I like that other one. I think you should get it. Like all this kind of stuff. And so I was being very supportive, which are all true statements. So I didn't really go in every shop. We did a lot of drinking. We did a lot of art. Walk around at this beautiful place. Do you have this very fancy watch? Do you have this very particular bag that I like? oh, it's time for another meal. It's time for another guided tour of. Like, it was not, I would have never stepped, here's the thing, I would have never stepped into a store at all. So the fact that I did go into all those high-end stores and look around and feel okay doing it, that was kind of fun. And it was a unique experience outside of the United States. Because to walk into any of those stores here, it's almost like their brand objective is to make you feel like you don't belong.
Or deserve.
Even when you can afford it. It's almost like they perceive part of the experience is to be snotty to you. And I don't want that. So,
yeah, they don't do that to me at Target. Nobody ever judges me at Target. At least not that works there.
So I didn't buy anything. I was hoping to buy some art. Didn't really have the opportunity. We ended up in a boutique on sort of the last day, and it wasn't really the moment. They had lots of stuff, and I would have actually picked it up. For me, it was really also about how am I going to get it home and all the rest of this. And I didn't go. We talked about trying to get some leather items. For the most part, we would just deal with a street vendor or go into a leather goods store. But even the guides were telling us, unless you go to one of these two places, you can't really. It's not the kind of Italian leather that you think you're getting. Buy what you like, but don't go into it expecting this is a high quality Italian leather bag, because not unlike anywhere else in Italy, if any single individual component is made in Italy, the whole thing can be stamped made in Italy.
Oh,
so
really?
Really. So unless you're going to...
So rivets only.
She said, unless you're going to the School of Italian Leather and some other place that I didn't write down, that was like, whatever. So I didn't worry about it too much. But yeah, I got some wallets from a street vendor, and they fit the part, and they were purchased in Firenze, and then they're home. Done. Got a scarf, for this one and that one. And I went into a real scarf store and got a real scarf for myself. So, but other than that, and really I wouldn't have done it. I did it because that was, the other ladies were on a scarf mission. I would have skipped that entirely, but I did it. So, and I feel like that was a splurge. I would have never bought it. I did like it. I wanted to have a scarf. It wasn't the ideal one, but it was nice. So I thought, all right, come home with me. You will. You've done. Look, I want to tell you one story from Italy. There's too many to tell, but this one I think you will love as much as it's in my heart forever. So we landed and we were in Rome a couple of days. Then we left and went to Florence for the bulk of the trip. This was really only a trip to Florence. When we got there, we arrived at the hotel a little bit off timing of when we were expected to get, as something happened. So checking in, my husband and I happened to be the last of our party to be checking in. So everybody else had already checked in. By the time they got around to us, I was the last one. You show all your documents and you sort of do it one at a time. So they were off in the corner plotting what are we going to do, and I'm still standing at the desk. And the woman is going through and she's, making copies of this and this and this. And she comes back to the desk and I'm there by myself. And she says, okay. And everybody wants to talk about my name. And because, it's funny to see that name in Italy. Right. So, okay. So we're walking and I'm standing there at the desk and she comes back with my papers in her hand and puts the papers down on the counter, holds up her two fists and says, and now we fight. And I said, we do? We do. She said, and now we fight.
Is there a famous Fugazi fighter that I don't know about?
I just thought, what the fuck? So, yeah. And then she says, the room is not ready. So then she went into this whole big, long rigmarole about how they needed just a little bit more to clean it. But, and she was like, is there a way that you can go upstairs and have a cocktail? And I'm like, hi, I don't think we've met. So,
yeah,
hilarious.
I'm completely cocktail driven.
And now we fight.
And so sleep deprived.
I think that
she really put her hands up to fight you?
She really put her dukes up and looked at me and said, and now we fight. And this was, and when I said to her, we don't have to fight. This is fine. I'll drink a cocktail. And she's like, and then she started to say, I love you, over and over again. I love you. And now we fight. I love you. It was the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. I don't even get it. I don't know
you do,
what it means.
Because she's like, oh, God, an American is here and her room's not ready. I've seen all the Karens on TikTok. I know it's about to come.
She was literally floored at how unconcerned and peaceful and frankly giddy we were to go to their rooftop bar and have Negronis for the afternoon. Because what would I rather do? Sit alone in my room like a sado? This was fantastic news for us. Hilarious though. And now we fight. So that has not only, so that goes with everything we say now is a now, and then you insert and now we do laundry. So it's like everything goes into
Oh.
and now.
I love
And
that.
now
More
we
so, I
drink.
love the, and now we fight.
And now we fight. So
I-
I'm not even sure what she was trying to substitute there. Like, I have some bad news for you. Like, is that the phrase that was eluding her?
No, because she put her dukes up to fight
And
you.
now-
She knew
and
exactly
now
what she was saying.
We fight. Yeah, and she, pumping them in front, like, here we go, baby. It was very.
I
very
love
funny.
that. I love that. I
Yes.
love that. Dear listener, put that in your every day. If you can't find a moment to say, and now we fight, then
now.
throw in, and now we fold
We
the
fight.
laundry.
And now we fold the laundry. Yes. Oh my God, it was so funny. And the other thing is, all the women were named Irene. You know the name Irene in
Yes.
America? We had 3 on our trip who were named Irene. And we only know this because I misheard our guide and I thought her name was Sarah. So help me out. It was very busy. So I was calling her Sarah for like 2 hours. And then I heard somebody say something for whatever. And I looked at her and I said, excuse me, do I have your name wrong? Is it not Sarah? And she says, Irene. And I said, what? And then we learned her name is Irene. And I thought she had said Sarah for some reason. So Irene. And she kept saying it over and
Irene.
over and over and over until somebody goes, Irene. And I was like, oh, and then we figured it out. And then later we had 3 Irene, and then we had 2 Greta. What? Why?
Those are
Where's the
not
Gretas?
popular names here.
No.
So
Greta. A lot of Gretas, a lot of Irenes.
what you're saying is you pulled a stew for 2 hours and you called
Oh my
somebody the
God.
wrong name.
Oh, no, the only reason we knew it is because my husband at one point looked at her and said, Courtney.
Oh, shut up.
No, that's right. I forgot. At one point asked her a question, Courtney, and she looked at him, and then she answered the question. And so later I pulled her aside and I said, I'm sorry, what the hell is your name? Because I was like thinking,
I called you
have
Sarah.
I,
He called
have
you
I been
Courtney.
calling you Sarah and your name is Courtney? Or did he, like, who the...
Neither
she's
one.
like-
You're both
she's
fucking
like,
crazy
she's
Americans.
like, yeah, my name's Julie. Like, I was just waiting for the whole fucking...
Irene.
Jiminy Chris. Irene.
Irene.
So it's hilarious. Very fun. So is that sort of a thing? We kept meeting people and we would have these, well, because we would spend many hours with them drinking. That's the other thing. Everyone that we worked with, we would drink with. So we would hire a guide.
Right.
We didn't have Annie and Tom, right? So we had to go through the Coliseum and get some knowledge. So
Right.
we bought that knowledge. We bought a person to come and walk with us, and she showed us all about it and the Roman Forum and all the places, Pantheon, all the places, right? And then immediately it's like, and now we drink. So then everything always ends with, let me take you to the bar, let me take you to the place, let me
Right.
take you
If
to
it
the
were
gelato.
Disney, you would end in the store, in
Yes,
that whatever
yes,
product
yes.
store. But because it's Italy, you end with food and a drink.
Elisabetta took us to her favorite wine store. And as we now know, you sort of know, but you don't really know until you experience it. In Italy, you never drink without something to eat. In, I think,
that makes
Spanish
sense.
culture, this is tapas. Yeah, you always get a cocktail and a little bit of food comes with it. Well, in Italy, it's the same idea, but the little bit of food that comes with it is what we would normally attribute to the main course of a meal. So with
Oh, wow.
every cocktail, the charcuterie boards, the craziness, we are in a wine store,
Go
not a
ahead.
bar, not a bar. A place with bottled wine made somewhere else to be sold, a wine store. And the food they served us in there was better than most restaurants. They had their own meat slicer
Shut up.
in the wine store. He sliced the meat from a chub of whatever the actual brajol. He picked up a piece of meat and sliced it fresh to give us with our glass of wine. Does that sound like a wine store to you? Why did we leave? That's the only
Well,
question.
that's what I was going to ask you. So when you checked in there, did he want to fight? And now,
I bought 3 cases of wine. But I'm just trying to say, it's
what was
very
the
good.
wine you bought?
We actually, I bought spirits from there. We did a wine tasting there. It was spectacular. We went through the hills of Tuscany, went to 2 different wineries, and one of the winery tours was fantastic, and the other one, by contrast, really felt like, oh, this is what everyone else does. The first one was totally private. Like we were the only ones there in the whole castle. Wow. It was a very strange kind of a thing. And then the other one was helicopters were coming in and out. They had peacocks. Like this was Myrtle Beach compared to, yeah. So, but they still put you in the kind of a special basement and crazy. I've got pictures. It was fantastic. So I just bought the wines that they had. They make wine there that they only make there and can only really sell there. They don't distribute it anywhere else. So that's specifically what we bought. It's different than there's wines that you've heard of, Chianti, this, that, the other. Those are the ones that are widely distributed. And then they have something called a Super Tuscan, which is basically their local version of what they make, but they can't distribute it in the same way legally. Haha, who cares? I put it in a crate and it came to my house. Ciao. So you come here, you drink it. I want to know why we're not at your beach house looking at pictures from my Italy trip, you beachy Springer. When are you going to the beach house? Are you there now?
No, I am not there now. You know where I am now. Well, it is a holiday today. I am going this evening to have second Seder with family, Stuart's family, my family, and...
That took a long walk.
Sorry. Don't you find it's better when you're traveling to Europe to tell people you're Canadian?
Usually they assume it. My accent is so thick and heavy. Whenever I speak French, everybody thinks I'm Canadian. So, or in this case, just an idiot when I try to speak Italian, which I do poorly.
All you have to learn to do is say a boot and sorry. And
what I end up doing is I'm not attempting to do it. I just naturally do it. I mimic the guides speaking English. So I end up sounding like I'm speaking English with an Italian accent.
You're just trying to be polite, and it
just sticks into your ear. And so it just comes out, and so who knows? But anyway, I was told I have an Italian face. Oh, I forgot to tell you my other favorite thing. So we were talking about surnames and name of the cousin and this whole thing, and you write it on my husband's name's different than my name and blah, blah, blah. And they went, oh, it's Italian, blah, 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 blah. So they all start talking. And I'm like, yeah, you lost me at 3 words
after the word Italian.
Right. Come to find out, my name in the extended family name means like little bit give you a suggestion. And I was like, really? That's what it means? I'm like, you're making a big face. That's kind of perfect for me.
That is perfect for you.
I was like, yeah, that checks out. She's
wow.
like, yeah, okay, you have Italian face. Yeah. So I was like, okay, all right, thank you, Matteo. Antonella. I'll have another.
Whatever your name is. I'm going to call you
Irene. Scusi, Irene. Yeah, it's very fun. It was super fun. Here's my other thing that was shocking. Last thing. Fully 50%. Fully 50% of the food that we ate was not as good as what I make at home. 50%.
Yeah, that's the other thing. You almost have to, I don't want to say TripAdvisor it. Like you want to do it in a way where it's mom and pop and not big restaurants. And I did see a picture of you at a very big restaurant breathing dragon's breath. Whatever.
Well, we went to a Michelin 3-star restaurant, and that was the best meal of my life. And that's not anything I could do at home. But I'm here to tell you this. Here's what I mean. We went a couple days Rome, the whole time in Florence, and I don't feel like either one of those are food cities. I feel like, I don't know anything, but I feel like Rome is a history city. I feel like Florence is an art and a living city. Like it's about the wine. It's about the light. My God, the light. It's all of that stuff, right? It's about wine and art and just being in the moment. All this other stuff. I feel like the actual food, if you want pizza, you maybe go to Naples, right? You go to Foggia, where my family is from.
Go to
right?
Naples.
Yes.
Either way,
oh,
go
the
to
Limoncello.
Naples.
And of course, they sent us a bottle home for that from the restaurant. Oh, it's so crazy. Yeah. Or
it's my favorite.
if you want fantastic cheese and meat, you're going to go to Parma, right? So I feel like the next trip is a food-centric trip. And in those beautiful places, they're not going to have these majestic, historic ruins to wander. I mean, every place has the thing that it's known for. And on the flip of that, it just sort of reinforced, I like to cook, and I can do it pretty well. So I took it more as a compliment of what we try to do in our house and what's important to us and emphasis on food and all these kinds of things, as opposed to any shortcoming of the trip or the people. Absolutely none of that. We went to the big Jewish center there and had the Jewish style artichokes. It was artichoke season, so it was spectacular to do that. Like it was crazy. Anyway,
is that when you take the leaf and just scrape it on your teeth and eat it that way?
That is the Roman way. That is the way that I'm known for having it. And my grandmother make it. I'm not really an artichoke fan. They literally call it there the Jewish ghetto. In the Jewish ghetto there, the Jewish way of preparing the artichoke is to snip all of the leaves and then sort of press the artichoke down and deep fry it face down so that it looks like a flower. It expands out. Think bloomin' onion. It expands out into a beautiful, and then they fall off. But you eat it whole. You don't scrape it against your teeth. It's almost like each individual leaf of the artichoke acts like a chip. It's been deep fried, right?
You're telling me the Jews fried something in oil? Gee, I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. It was good. We ate it. We were glad to.
Although this holiday for us is not one where you deep fry anything. It's one where if you have to have it rise, you're fucked. You can't have it. So you have to pretend like you're running through a desert from an army behind you. And like, what can I eat?
They served us Haroset on the plane.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah, I thought of you.
Was it delicious? Or was it
gross? Delicious.
Okay.
No, it was super delicious.
I'm torn because haroset is delicious, but plain food is awful. So the combination of the two, it could have gone either way.
They had, well, I'll just say this and it might suit for the whole rest of it. We were presented with both a menu, a folded menu with multiple pages, and a wine list on our plane ride. From which to choose. I told you it was super luxe. It was crazy. I took pictures of all of it. So yeah. So they
did you scope out a vacation home for next summer so we can?
We did. They have
VRBO.
They call them something mobile closet. I was calling it a home closet. So in each of these places, right, there was like a pop-up alcove, and it was called a mobile blah, 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 something that I forget the name of. I took a picture of it. Inside were images with descriptions of all these houses that you could buy. And it was just sort of this 24-hour unstaffed closet that you could walk into, get information, and like buy a house. So, and they weren't that bad. So we took a lot of information, and that's that. Haha.
You just let me know when we are going
to
live our under the Tuscan sun life.
Bingo.
And
bingo. That's
summer.
a bingo. That's a bingo.
That's a bingo. And now we drink.
As our driver through the several Tuscan wineries said to us, Claudio, he goes, "Making me proud." Every time we would get out of the car.
Every time we would fall into the car, we made him proud.
Okay, making me proud. Yeah. So there we go. He said, "No problem, Claudio." Yeah, it's very funny. Okay, that's it. Enough of me. Enough of you.
I could never get enough of you. What are you drinking now?
This is a little tiny little cocktail. So this is it's a little bit of sparkling wine, and I put in a little slice of pear and a slice of lime because I had them out and available. It's delicious. Earlier today I had some Teroni, amaretti cookie. All good.
Those are my favorite. Keep talking about cookies, which is the main staple in my diet that I can't have for 8 days.
Oh no. You're kidding.
I finally got the Pepperidge Farm Captiva cookies back in my supermarket. They delivered 3 packs of them, and I just get to look at them for the next week.
What even is that? It sounds like a digestive cookie. A Captiva? What am I thinking of? What's that poop shot that you drink made of yogurt? What's that called?
Activia.
That's the one.
Yeah, okay.
These are different?
Yeah. Captiva is actually an island off of Florida where we used to live.
We're supposed to, yeah.
Yeah. I think we've even taken you there and gotten pulled over by a police officer while
usually
Stuart was driving, and we're like, this is it, man. This is us. We didn't really drink. We're just annoying.
You mentioned, speaking of annoying, and Stuart all in the same breath.
Yeah.
At the hotel.
Total, yeah.
Before you get to leave, you have to get a negative COVID test.
Yeah, before you leave the country.
I took a fucking picture of, they sent a doctor.
Really?
So all she does is, so all she does, and her name, Irena. Yeah, so all she does is fucking COVID tests, pay her cash, euro, but you fucking pay her, right? She walks in green velvet pants and a briefcase with the COVID tests in it. It's a fucking Louis Vuitton briefcase.
When in
And
Rome.
I'm like, of course you are.
When in
Of course you do.
Firenze.
Of fucking course you do. Of fucking course you do. Can you imagine? Oh, the place.
So Stuart always jokes that I say, in retirement, all my sentences start with, in retirement, you can, and I have work for him to do. He loves real estate. He's got a brain for numbers and financing. And I'm like, you should just pass those real estate tests. And all you'd have to do is sell 1 or 2 houses a year. And we could live off of, he's like, hey, slow down. How come in retirement, I'm always working?
Right. And I have to get certified in yet another fucking batch of letters.
Well, you know the answer to that is because you're fucking annoying and you can't sit still. That's the reason for that.
He needs a task.
He needs activity.
But he could be the European COVID test doctor, and we.
That's what I'm saying.
Bar,
you just came up with another. Keep doing this, and you don't need another certification. Any fucking moron could swipe a nose. So
motherfucker.
And you're a doctor, so what? You're already overqualified for this gig.
Perfect.
Sticking a stick up everybody's nose. Anybody can do it.
I love it. That's right. If you have to touch the phlegm, shouldn't it be VIP? Shouldn't you be getting a paid a premium for this?
VIP phlegm. I mean, that is,
Perfect.
Sorry, we call it phlegm, but there's nothing
VIP
better.
phlegm.
Yeah, even better with an Italian accent. I absolutely love it.
And now we swab. Yes, you have to do it. It's perfect. Fantastic.
To prepare for tonight's holy day, it started out that we were going to host this. And I threw up in my mouth because, I don't want people in my house because
You told me previously that you were hosting. And since you told me just recently that you're going out for this tonight, I presumed you had already done the hosting and were going to tell me about it. Or maybe the hosting was coming up. You somehow skirted.
I did. Skirt. I did. Skirt.
Oh, congratulations.
And now we go to someone else's
and
house.
And now we leave. Yeah, fantastic. Good for you.
I don't know how I did it. I honestly don't, but I got out of it. My sister-in-law's making a turkey. I made a brisket that truly made my mouth water. I can't eat this now. What's happening? So hopefully my husband is preheating an oven as we speak to put it in there.
How does that work? Do you let them know that you have a brisket and offer to bring it? Or is it their menu, their business, you stay out, the brisket stays home? What do you do with this brisket now?
No, I'm bringing it to dinner tonight. She made a turkey also, so there'll be plenty of meat for plenty of people. And first of all, when they gave it to me, I didn't go to the supermarket. I went to a butcher. Old world style. I figure my friends in Italy, it's time to go to a butcher, girl. Butch up.
I love you.
And now we eat
brisket.
We
eat. Yes.
So I walk in there and I needed 2 because I was hosting. And now I have one in my freezer so I can redo this. But
fantastic.
It's enormous. It doesn't come with a label because it comes wrapped
wrapped in paper.
Well, yes. And yes. As I get there, they're hosing off the floor and blood is flying into a drain on the floor.
We went into a market in Florence and they were selling horse meat.
That's very disturbing. What's it called? The equine market?
And it was just a regular market. They had every possible thing in there, including lots of octopus, which made me very sad. So that's what they eat there, and it's a delicacy. I ate pigeon, all of it. Back to you and hosing off the floor of the butchery where you went to get the brisket.
Understanding that they're as smart as a 7-year-old is very disturbing, but it's the same thing with pigs. Pigs are wicked smart. Smarter than the 5th graders that my daughter tutors at the elementary school. So how do you rationalize a pig over octopus? So they're hosing off the floor. Blood is flying into the drain. And I'm thinking to myself, if you were in charge of hunting and gathering, it would just be nuts and wheat for you for the rest of your life. There's just no way that I would... Prepping meat makes me want to throw up in my mouth. I took this enormous piece of meat, which I could picture on the side of an animal as they chiseled it out and watched the rest of it fall into the drain.
Brisket is very torso length, human stomach looking. Yeah, you really start to feel like you're butchering something.
I mean, even chicken, when they're like, yeah, put this fork at the end of the tendon and pull the tendon out of.
But it's at that point, it is super gross, but it's also a super fucking bird. Like, you don't look like a bird. When you're dealing with a big old piece of beef like that, you start picturing human anatomy.
It's very disturbing.
I don't know how surgeons could fucking eat. And do their job.
Like,
the whole thing, I'm like, something. There's got to be a
disconnect. It's very disturbing. And it was so big, I went to put it in a crock pot to leave it for 6 hours. And I was like, I know this is going to shrink to the size of a hockey puck. So I need to, I don't know. Let's wait 2 hours, flip it. I don't know. Like I put it through, but the secret to this awesome, awesome brisket, besides it spending 6 hours in its own filth and just being.
The secret is you.
Is me. It's the love that I put into the meat and the horror when I saw how it died for me and for my family to enjoy this holiday. Another holiday of they came for us, we fought, and we survived.
And now we survived.
And now we ask, why is tonight different from all other nights? Because I left the house and there's brisket that I made. That's why it's different. Traditionally, the youngest human at the Seder asks what's known as the 4 questions. First of which being, why is tonight different than all other nights? And
who made this brisket?
And where the fuck did this brisket come from?
Right.
And unfortunately, although I've told you this story a couple of weeks ago, my daughter will not have her grandmother there to shock with her language. Someone I shared the story of how my daughter was talking to my mother-in-law, who said, the times are so different, sweet girl, times are so different. I using words I've never used before. And deadpan in the face, Mallory looks at my mother-in-law and says, what? Like, cunt? Okay, so this week in the mail comes a candle that has written on it, live, love, laugh, which we all hate because that's a basic bitch phrase. And then it is crossed out, the live, love, laugh, and right below it, it says, don't be a cunt.
Oh, Grandma.
And it was addressed to my daughter. It was not from Grandma. Oh, my God. Could you imagine if my mother-in-law sent a cunt candle?
Well, she's connecting with the younger generation.
Yeah.
That's the first of the 4 questions that the youngest must ask. Can you imagine if my mother-in-law sent a cunt candle?
Brian!
Okay, I want to get back to this thing before I totally forgot. The funniest part of the whole damn trip. Super funny, okay? I accidentally had like a fentanyl reaction overseas.
A fentanyl reaction?
Yes. You may know this about me. You may not. I get a little bit of a sour stomach in cars. I frequently will throw up in cars, and that mostly is because I'm also drunk, but I really do get car sick a lot, and I get plane sick. And, it's motion sickness is what I get. So I try to manage it as best I can. I try not to be super annoying, but it's tough. It's hard, right? So for this trip, I thought, now you're going to be driving through the hills of Tuscany from multiple wine tasting to wine tasting to wine tasting. That's a lot of, what are you going to do, right? Before we left, my wise and sage friend told me, there's a prescription you can get for motion sickness. Not just because Dramamine is you can get an actual prescription. So I thought, great, I'm going to do it. Called the doctor. They ordered it, didn't even have to go in. I would go to pick it up. It's a patch. I hadn't heard about this. It turns out it's not even Dramamine. It's something called, we were making a joke, scopolamine. I don't know what the fuck it is. It's something with a scopo in the front, right? And I thought, do I take it when I'm on the plane? Do I take it when I'm on the bullet train? Do I take it when I'm downtown? I had gone almost the whole trip and not taken it yet. And I thought, you know what? Claudio is driving us through the mountains, through the hills, through this goat country. It's difficult to get to. I'm going to fucking
If ever I was going to yak, it's going to be in front of a yak. Yeah.
So we were already 1.5 wine tastings in, and I decided I'm going to pop this shit on. So it's a patch, a little tiny dot. So I stick it behind my ear. And what happened was I was super high.
Really?
Crazy high. They took pictures of me because at one point somebody said, I was having a hard time of walking high, right? And I thought, what's now? And they took a picture of my eyes, and they were pin fucking dots. Because somebody said, see if her eyes are dilated. That'll show, right? And I pictured that my eyes would be totally black. My eyes were the tiniest little pencil pin dot you've ever seen.
What the fuck was you stuck in?
So we Googled it and said, what happened when you get this? And it's like, this is a reaction to opioid, fentanyl, heroin. And I'm like, what?
What is in that patch?
I took it off. Because I didn't know what really was happening.
And why was the doctor so quick to prescribe it to you without coming in and
time? It's just
do not mix with alcohol. Do not mix with driving through the Tuscan.
That business. I didn't read any of that business. But I'm telling you, it was crazy. And I still have 3 of those patches left. If you want to hook up, I'm trying to tell you, it was oh my God, it was insane. And then I come to find out, my same friend who told me about the patch had something called party patches that she'd been using all this time, which are these little vitamin patches that you put on and you don't get a hangover. And I'm like,
so it's like a banana bag, but in the patch form.
I don't know about that, but it said a party patch, and she would just go doink and stick it on her butt. And I thought, you know what? This whole time, I thought you just floated down from fucking heaven, and then everything about you is great, and you got the secret fancy patch that I don't have. I've got the heroin patch. So I was wrong. I went in the wrong patch direction, but hilarious. I will tell you because now you're curious. I will figure out and text you what I actually took, but it was crazy.
That is nuts.
It was, you remember when I had some mistaken Arizona vitamins?
The bad weed? Mean weed?
When I had mean weed? This was like happy, relaxed drunk.
And you have 2 more of them.
I was, oh, gal.
I wonder if you could wear it for an hour, take it off, and wear it for an hour the next day.
I don't know what happened, but something happened.
Yeah, I need to know what was in that. I need to know what's going on. And I was just going to give you the advice that in New Jersey, they're going through with legalizing weed, and they will have dispensaries up in 1 month's time in Atlantic City. So that was what I was trying to... Oh, my God.
And the shootings shall begin. Poor things.
Oh, good Lord. No shootings. Weed people don't shoot.
Really?
Really? They're too busy chilling on a couch. They're too busy elbow deep in cheese curls. Like, what are you talking about? Weed people are peaceful people.
Except when they run out of weed.
Then they go get more.
Okay.
Because it's available.
Okay. I like it.
I like it too.
I like it. Let's do it.
I like you. Dear listener, I'm sure over the next few weeks, we are going to hear more wonderful stories, but now we say goodbye.
And now we're done.
We fight. I'm absolutely going to go tell the story of "And Now We Fight" to Stuart's family and over dinner. As my daughter yells cunt for no reason whatsoever.
Fight. Fantastic. I love it.
Thank you so much for listening. If you want to hear more, see more, if you want to get more information about Amy's trip and hopefully pictures, please find us on Instagram at Listen Brilliant, Twitter, Listen Brilliant, Brilliant Observations on Facebook, Brillobs Squad, as that elite group of... I clicked here and it accepted
super
me.
Elite.
Yeah.
That's when you hear on the news and they're talking about the super elites, that's what they mean.
That's to whom they are referring.
That's where it is.
We would like you to write us of your stories, your patches of intoxication, your information, travel, any advice you have for us, any stories to share with Amy, brilliantobservations@gmail.com. We would be thrilled to hear from you. The same way you're thrilled